All right, all right. Shalom, shalom, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this devil platform with another message. And I will say, this is a lovely, lovely morning in which the Most High, AHAYAH, has made. And I, Sister Deborah, shall and I will rest therein. I'm coming with a awesome, wonderful, great message. This message, I can't even title it until I am done. This message is for many out there who are in captivity to their own selves. They're in captivity to others outside of the captivity in which a people have been cursed to be in. We have another captivity within ourselves. And the main captivity that we are in is in our flesh. Our flesh cannot shake off what it is doing to our spirit. 99 point trillion are not aware that they are flesh and they are spirit. They are fully unaware of that. Well, this message is going to give you some information that's going to feed your spirit a full meal. Now, your flesh might be disappointed 100, but somewhere in you, you got to come out of this captivity to your flesh, because your flesh got you in captivity to other organizations, other groups, other churches, camps, synagogues, places that you should not be in captivity to. But who has you there? Your own flesh. Because it don't want to hear, it don't want to take the food of your spirit to strengthen your spirit to defeat your own flesh. Because your flesh is keeping you from understanding all things that could be taught to you through the Ruach HaKodesh, which the world calls the Holy Spirit, which is okay. Okay? So this message is one like no other on the devil platform. I spoke of this message once before, but I need to really kind of go over it again, and then also give some more understanding that's so easily to graft in your flesh, definitely in your spirit. But your flesh might not let you hold on to what you're about to hear. But see, he says, he that has an ear, let him hear. And he's not saying Sister Deborah's voice. He said that which the Spirit says to the Spirit. Let him hear. So this message is going to cover so many issues to the point where you're going to feel you lost. But what it is this. When you get confused in this message, it's because you're coming to the understanding of it. You don't even have to listen to this twice. You can listen to it once and be set free. But I suggest you listen to it from the beginning to the end. Okay? Because this is food for the spirit. And like I say, the flesh is going to be angry. The flesh is going to be disappointed. It's going to want to reject. It can do all those things because it has had the power over your spirit, and you have allowed it to put your spirit in captivity. The reason why they say soul is to interfere what? With your spirit being identified. So when men and women talk this thing about soul, yes, you see it in the Bible. But there's many things you see in the Bible, but that's why he said you just study to show thyself approved. But then you're going to eventually understand what he means when he said rightly dividing the word of truth. Because there is a spirit that has been promised to come and teach us all things. We have rejected him as well. Okay? So, your spirit can't get the food that's due it. And it's just out there believing everything out of the mouths of flesh and out of your mouth and your mind of flesh and your heart of flesh and your understanding of flesh. I want to tell you all something that I think that is very much needed in that day. And that day is the day that we're in. And that is, we are not just flesh. We are spirit. Okay? You have in your flesh, you have a brain, you have a heart, you have eyes, you have ears, okay? And you have all of these things within your flesh. But why they put soul is so you won't really focus that there's not a soul, there is a spirit. Your spirit has a heart, it has a mind, it has a eye, one eye, it has a ear, you see, and it has understanding that the Father in heaven gives it. Okay? These things you have in the spirit is like unto you have in the flesh. Flesh feeds your flesh. Spirit feeds your spirit. Okay? And who comes to teach you all things? The Comforter, which is AHAYAH. The word calls God. He comes to teach you all things. That means it has to override all your teaching you have received in your flesh. But when your flesh have so much dominion over your spirit, then it rules. Okay? It wants the understanding it wants. It wants the wisdom it wants. It wants the knowledge it wants. It wants nothing to do with the true comforter that's coming to teach you all things. Can your flesh teach you all things? No way. Your flesh can even go nowhere near all things. And that's what makes it your greatest enemy. No one ever teaches the people your flesh is your worstest enemy. Guess what? It is. It is. He didn't say Satan. He didn't say your family. Your worstest enemy is self. Your own flesh is your worstest enemy. So what Sister Deborah is about to go over, I want you to cause your flesh to stand down. And then listen to the lesson from beginning to end so you can get some food for your spirit. Now, what's the beauty over this whole lesson is you're going to come out of it changed. Say for instance, you've been taught something for 1,000,000 years. It doesn't matter. What Sister Deborah is about to give you in spirit and truth, it's going to override it. And you would forever be changed. I'm not saying that you're going to flip over and understand or you're going to come to this great revelation. You might. But it's going to override what you've been taught. The cult in which you've been in. The groups and the camps and the churches, the synagogues, the temples, and everything you've been in. This message is going to override it. Now, I want you to understand that this message is also going to set you free. Free in your family, free in your community, free amongst your friends, free amongst your co-workers, free amongst your church, the people in your church, free from your pastor, your leaders, your Maureen, your watchmen, your seers, free from the bishop, the pastor, the evangelist, the teacher, the prophet, the apostle, the prophetess, free from it all, that you may serve and worship the Most High, AHAYAH, which the world calls God. Okay? So this is what this message is about. It's freeing you from the outside in, and from the inside, it's going to free you from the outside. Okay? So I'm going to start first by letting you know this is I didn't do too good on my picturing, how I drew this picture here. And I'm just going to call out what I have here. Okay? And I want to start with I want to start with what the word called God. I want to say to you in Hebrew, it's AHAYAH, AHAYAH. That's his name. Okay, you can call him Yahuwah. Okay, here next to him. Nope, I got to go back to him. This is the Most High, AHAYAH, which the word calls God. Here you see his crown. I want you to understand. And the reason why I put a crown on him is because I want you to understand he is what you call God. Okay? He is God. You notice I call myself making a little throne. And you notice I gave the crown. But what I did put here in red, that's his arm and his hand. That's his right hand and his arm. It was present at the beginning. It was what performed everything that the word spoke. The arm, the hand, the right hand brought it forth. Okay. Next to the right hand, you see what the word called Jesus. Okay. You see Jesus on the right hand of the Father. Okay, and you're going to understand, a lot of people don't understand why it's so confusing when it speaks of Yeshua being on the right hand or being on the right of the Father. People really don't understand it because the only one that can come and bring you that understanding is that comforter. If you do not have the comforter of the Most High, AHAYAH, which a lot of people call God, you're out there. You are totally out in darkness. Okay? So here I really want to kind of expound on the Father in the heavens. Yahuwah, which I call him AHAYAH, because he only gives that name to those in which he has assigned it to. Okay? You can't call him what I call him because you hear me calling him that. You have to be able to have him in you, okay, and have taught you that in the closet that is his name. Okay, so I called him AHAYAH. The other Hebrews might call him Yahuwah, and they call him all kind of names. Okay, but I want you to understand, here is his hand on the right hand. You hear in the scriptures probably, I know it's more than 100 times, more, greater than 100, where you hear about his right hand. And greater than 100 do you hear about his arm, his stretched out arm. His right hand and his stretched out arm, everything you see, it brought it forth. Okay? Even you, yourself, AHAYAH's right hand brought it forth. That's why when you see Yeshua sitting on the right hand of the Father, you see, it's a reason why he's on the right hand. He's on the power of the Father. You remember when he said, sit here on my right hand so that I can make the earth your footstool. Okay? Why? Why on the right? Because AHAYAH's right hand and his stretched out arm is his right hand of power. It is what you call all power in the heavens and in the earth. That's another food for the spirit, and why, if you ever wonder why Yeshua, when he was present on the earth, he said before he left that that they would be okay because the comfort would come. And he went on to telling them about how they would receive power. You see, this is a part of the individual who receives the comforter, in which Yeshua was telling them. And he said, you shall receive power. There that power is. This is what Yah, which the world calls God, has ushered those that he have come into as a comforter. Okay? And have given his spirit, which is the comforter, the power to do what? To do what Yeshua had promised us. Not promised, but Yeshua had stated to us. We shall have power. And greater signs and wonders should we do than he. So when Yeshua said we should be doing this greater, where have you seen it? In all your life. Where is it at? Where is the presence of that power? That shows you that a lot of times you all are under so many leaderships, so many rulers. Those are people that teaching and in the flesh, to where you have not gained all that the Ruach HaKodesh had promised to give you. It was said, you shall have power to do all these things, but you have none whatsoever. But you say you have the Ruach. So that's what Yeshua was talking about. He has to go back because all the power was given unto him to come down, to complete the mission. Why did he need all the power? Why did he need AHAYAH, which is the word? Why did he need that? Because AHAYAH had sent many angels down as prophets. Everyone they never listened to. Never, y'all. I know you would want them to, but they never listened to the prophets. Matter of fact, the majority of them was murdered. They suffered greatly. Just imagine that you were an angel sent down here to inform people every word y'all give you to tell the people, and the people, all they could do is kill you. That's how potent it is today. That's how sad it is today. Like until yesterday, they still are not listening to those that AHAYAH have sent down. Did they listen to Yeshua? No, they didn't. They never listened to him. Did his 12 listen to him? No, they didn't. The 12 disciples never listened to Yeshua. So what did Yah say? I tell you what, you sit here on my right until I make that earth your footstool. When you come down, I'm going to give you my word. I'm going to give you my right hand of power. And I'm going to give you my spirit so that you can complete the mission in which I called you. This way, they can't just kill you like they killed my prophets, because I'm coming down with you in all that I am. You see, even though I still sat on the throne as the Father, but all that I am, which is my right hand, my word, and my spirit is going down with you. So this here is Yeshua. He gained all that AHAYAH put in him and on him to come down to complete the mission. That's why it was called who Yeshua is, the Son of Man, and it was called the Son of Yah, because Yeshua came down with what AHAYAH had given him, which was his power, his word, and his spirit, so that he can complete the mission. A very, 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 very powerful mission on the face of the earth. And what was that? And that's where we're going to begin. Okay, so I want to first let you all know you were angels. We are and we were angels in the heavens. Okay, here you see I got clouds. We have many, many, many layers of heavens. I just put the last one in which I call that the heavens in which AHAYAH sits and resides. Okay, so I'm calling this the heavens where AHAYAH resides, and I put these clouds, to separate the earth. Okay, and then I put, you see, yellow circles. These are angels. These are angels. These are who you are and I. Okay, Deborah was one of these angels. Okay. Okay, you see other angels, but they have a black circle around them. We're talking about the heavens. And what happened was there was something that took place before heaven and earth was created. That means before all of this, before any clouds, we're going back to the heavens and talk about what took place before the foundation of the world. And what took place was everyone that's on the earth was once an angel in the heavens. Okay? Okay? Now, we were all in the kingdom of the Father. We was all in heavens as angels. But there was an angel that I believe, based on the Spirit teaching me, he had such a way of doing things to attract many other angels to see him as something special. AHAYAH also allowed him to be in the midst of many in the heavens. So therefore, all that he was, it was recognized in the heaven. Okay? And I'm trying not to bring all the glory to this particular angel. I don't want to do that because there's no glory given unto him. Okay? So I want, if you see me kind of holding back, I'm trying to make sure I stick to what I've been taught. Okay? Through the Spirit. Okay? So there was a particular angel, like I said, and he decided that he want more than just the attention of other angels beholding him as something special. Okay? Not really knowing the mind, the spiritual mind. AHAYAH, the Father, has a spiritual mind. The Father has a spiritual heart. The Father has spiritual eyes. Okay? Spiritual ears. Okay? So therefore, the angel had no idea of what level of spiritual mind that AHAYAH had, but he knew that he was all the one that knows all things. But see, this particular angel wanted more. Once he felt that, I'm being behold, many are beholding me, and he felt special to where he wanted to sit here where the Father is at. Okay? He wanted more to be looked at. He wanted to be seen as more than what he was. Okay? So this particular angel continued in heaven. Because the question as a young girl was, why did you, once you clicked into his spiritual thought, Father, why didn't you just eliminate him? But at that time, many was beholding him already. You see? That's going back to show you the grace and mercy that we have on the earth. It was also grace and mercy in heaven. Because before he could get a third, 1/3 to even desire to come along with him, they had to have wanted it before. And he had to have had some time, which there's no time, I don't think, in heaven, but he had to have had this here in him, wanting to lead a people, lead the angels in the heavens. See, so AHAYAH knew it because he knew it the first thought. So it wasn't like he didn't know what that angel had in mind. He knew, y'all. But he knew he at that point, wait a minute, I got a plan to back that up. See, we thinking that AHAYAH is behind us and not in front of us. We thinking he on the side of us and not in front of us. We think we are in front of ourselves, not knowing really who he is and who we messing with, who we think we messing with. Okay? Now, this angel was called Satan, the devil. Okay? He was put out of his first estate, which was glorious heaven. Okay? Where he was here. Okay? And because of what he was trying to do in his first estate, AHAYAH wasn't pleased. So he took him out of this spiritual place. And before he took him out, there were some willing to follow him in the wherever he would go. But see, in their spiritual mind, they felt that they were going to follow Satan. But who calls the shot in the heavens and on the earth? The Most High, AHAYAH. You see? And before he was even taken out of here, AHAYAH had designed an earth to land him on. And see this greenery? This is the earth. So he was brought down. Okay? He was brought down to the earth. Okay? And the other angels were brought not to the earth with him. See, they didn't get to follow him like they wanted to. He had a plan even for them. AHAYAH had a plan for them in the lower part of the earth, the darkness chain. And there they are. So this is the 1/3 angels who wanted to follow Satan, the devil, from this level, from heaven to the earth. But they didn't get an opportunity to go to the earth. They went to the uppermost darkness chain. That's where the third is at today. Okay? They are not loose. They are not around doing things according to Satan's will. No, they have been brought to this level. So it speaks of how a third followed. See, they thought that when they were given the opportunity to follow Satan, they thought they was going to truly go wherever he goes. But listen, you all, AHAYAH's thoughts, it's not going to be dispersed to them. Not even to Satan. He brought them where he wanted them to be. See, they didn't get to follow him. They followed him out of their first estate, but not followed behind him to be where he's at. Satan is on the earth. They are underneath the earth in darkness and in chain, bound for judgment. So they didn't even get what they thought they were going to get. Satan was brought to earth. Okay? Now, when Satan was brought to earth, AHAYAH had created the earth. And Satan came down like a lightning. And he lands onto the earth. Yah has created the earth. Okay? And that's how he ended up on the earth. Now, let me go to Judith. Okay. Okay. Judah. In the book of Judah, chapter 1 and verse 6. In the book of Judah, chapter 1, verse 6, it reads, "And the angels which kept not their first estate, this is their first estate in the heaven, but left their own habitation, he has reserved in everlasting chain under darkness unto judgment of the great day. Of the great day. So see, they left their first estate thinking that they was going to follow Satan. But instead, he have reserved them a place in the everlasting chains under darkness until the judgment of the great day. So that's where all other fallen angels end up. They didn't end up on the earth. And when I say fallen, that's just a phrase that we heard so much that it is off the chain. He sits and lets you know that they left their own habitation. So it was almost a choice that they wanted to follow Satan, but they thought that they were getting the opportunity to follow him. But when you leave your first estate, which is heaven, AHAYAH send you where he wants you to go. You don't get to do what you want to do. You don't get to rule like you want to rule. That's the problem with the people here on the face of the earth. They run around here, I got a choice. Nobody tell me to do it. This is my life. We got choices. We choose this. Yeah, when you have to use the bathroom, you take your tail in there and use it. That's the choice you have. But the choice is in the spirit realm, you ain't got nothing coming. You see what I'm saying? And that's the only one that's going to be judged. It's the choice that you don't have ruler over. Okay? And that's what this message is also going to cover. So let's go to 2 Peter. That was Judah chapter 1, verse 6. It's telling you exactly where the angels are right today. Okay? 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. For if AHAYAH spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them unto chains of darkness to reserved until judgment. So they didn't get the opportunity to come to the earth with Satan. But here it says they were cast down to hell. So it's also saying that they left here because of what they had in mind to do and to follow Satan, which is wicked, sin. They wanted to follow it, but was cast down, which were brought down. This is where they were brought down to, in chains of darkness to be reserved until judgment. So those angels are still down there, you guys. They've been down there longer, probably it's been more than 1 million years, probably. I don't know, I'm just joking. But that's where they're at. Now, I wanted to just say that to you all because that shows you that they don't rule. No one rules the heaven outside of AHAYAH. When they thought they was going to come and follow Satan, they didn't get to follow him because Satan didn't come to this level and chain up. They did. Now, did they get to follow him? No, they didn't. So who are those angels that are following Satan? Let's go. Okay, now we in the heavens, and now Satan and his 1/3 are out of heaven. But what is happening, you see the yellow circles are other angels. Okay? These circles that's in heavens are other angels. But you see other circles that circle around in black. These were also angels that didn't follow Satan and end up down in the uttermost darkness. But they were still there with the same spiritual thought pattern. Okay? Had to steal the same spiritual mindset as who? Satan. Okay? So what happened to them were they were there. And AHAYAH already knew their thoughts in their spiritual mind. So what AHAYAH decided to do is I'm going to create a place called earth and bring the angels down to the earth. Okay? He knew that he brought the first angel down, which was to the earth, was Satan. He was came down like a lightning. He landed on the earth. He's not down here with these others. He has no connection to them. Isn't that deep? So they didn't get to follow what they wanted. They didn't get to rule the heaven. So we're the people today doing identical what Satan thought he was going to do. Him and his angels. We thinking that we're going to rule the heavens on the earth by these ways that we have and we have set up for so many years that we can't see that heavens is beyond our thoughts and beyond our ways. But we really have set up a mindset on this earth. How do we do that? With our flesh. With our flesh. So there were still many angels still having that same dark mindset. So that's why I circle it in black. So what AHAYAH decided to do is bring an earth here. Okay? And he shot like a lightning Satan down. Okay? These are other angels, but I'm just showing you like an angel. He got shot down to the earth. Okay? Like a lightning. That's what I mean. And the other angels, AHAYAH decided to bring all to the earth and allow those other angels to follow in the direction in which they were desiring in their mind, their spiritual mind thoughts in the heavens. They didn't freely leave their first estate, but yet they had the mindset. So even when Satan and the 1/3 left the heaven or was separate from the heavens where the throne of the Father is at, there were still many there that had that mindset that Satan had. Not as potent, nowhere near as potent, but they had that mindset. So AHAYAH's spiritual mindset is, I'm going to create all that I desire, and I'm going to lock it in on a wheel, and it's going to all go my way. The bosom of Yah is where it all resides. Okay? That's where it says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but the word. A lot of people think that the word that's in John chapter 1, the Gospel of John chapter 1, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with AHAYAH, and the word is AHAYAH. And verse 2, and the word was in the beginning. The reason why those statements are there in that form is to drill. It's like it was the Gospel of John chapter 1. It was trying to drill in you that I am the word. The word was before the earth is. The word was before anything took its place. Before heaven, as we know heaven, and earth was created, the word was. So the book, the Bible, is not the word. Okay? The word is AHAYAH. Okay? And that's another reason why people are confused in their understanding. If AHAYAH for 1 minute wanted me as a prophetess in the wilderness, learning from the wilderness level, to think for 1 minute that the word is this book, and this book can easily and have throughout time since it's existed been tampered with, been smeared, been rewrote. AHAYAH, he is the word. You cannot rewrite him and what is in him. Heavens and earth shall pass away to let you know that everything that was and is can pass away. But because he is the word and the word is him, it's founded in his bosom. It cannot pass away. But these Bibles, it has passed away. From the original from the scroll, from the original to the King James, to the newer version, to the new edition, to today's Bible, it has changed tremendous. So it's no way we are locked in our spirit. Now I'm separating that spirit from your flesh. In our spirit, the word is not the book. It is AHAYAH. Okay? The book holds many things that is connected to AHAYAH because he wrote it in his will that this need be to take place. Okay? So this will came forth because of the chaos that was in the heavens where he resided. So he decided to take out a will. Okay? And we know what a will is. He orchestrated everything from his throne, from the kingdom. Okay? That's why everything can pass away. These Bibles, books, as we know them, can be destroyed at a blink of an eye, which it has, because it started on the scroll, and it's all of that is gone. But what can't be taken away from the Bible? What cannot be removed? The word. Why? Because it rests right here in him. He is the word, and the word is not a book. Okay? Now, what took place now, he decided he's going to make a heaven and an earth. And what I'm going to do, all these minds that still rest in the heavens, I'm going to bring them down on the earth. And I'm going to form them with the dust of the earth. And then I'm going to breathe my breath of life in them. Okay? And they're going to become a living spirit. Why? Because I gave them, an angel is a spirit. My image is a spirit. Each angel has my image from the heaven. I'm a spirit, they a spirit. How did they gain these spirit? Is I am a spirit, and they have the same spirit I am. Okay? So when he brought them to the earth, he gave them the same image he has of himself in the heaven, which is a spirit. Why? Because they were angels coming down in the flesh. Okay? He was bringing them down. Okay? He formed them with clay. Remember when he breathed, they had to have something in that clay. That was a spirit. The spirit. The same image of a spirit that AHAYAH has. The same image that they have in heavens as a spirit. AHAYAH is a spirit. They are spirits in the heaven. So they came down with an image of AHAYAH in that dust. He breathed them the breath of life. And now they became flesh and spirit. Okay? They get up. Do you think that they could have, let me show y'all the reason why y'all people are messed up from the floor. It's no way that Adam could have gotten up being a spirit of an angel alone. The reason why these angels survive is because they're up in glory. Okay? This is where they're at. When they are brought down in human flesh and covered with human flesh, AHAYAH has to breathe in them to bring that spirit alive. That's why when that breath of life, which is life, that's really what life is, you guys. Just imagine for a trillion years you've been taught that life is your life. Nobody tell me what to do. I make my own choice. This is my life. I got one life to live. And to find out that you ain't got no life. The reality is you don't have no life. That is the life that comes from the breath of the Most High AHAYAH. You see? So when they come down, he breathes the breath in them. First, he forms, they're down. He forms flesh. They are mission to come in the flesh. These angels are mission to come in the flesh. And when they get down here and he gives them the breath of life, so that now they become spirit and flesh alive. Okay? The first place they walk, let's go. Here go Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve was put in a location on the earth. It was said the tree of life and the tree of good and evil that's in the midst of the Garden of Eden. What did they choose to do? They went around the Garden of Life, Adam and Eve, and took of the information that the tree of good and evil had to give them instead of the tree of life. First one was there was the tree of life. How did you forsake the tree of life to take of the tree of good and evil? You had to have stepped beyond it or beyond away from it. Not both of them was in the midst. You had to have bypassed it to get to here. And why? Because Adam and Eve were also the angels that came down that had the mindset to follow Satan. And that's why they quickly took of the tree of good and evil. So one might say a lot of things, but AHAYAH knew that they would. That's the whole idea of him putting the tree of life and the tree of good and evil. Because what would be the sense to bring these angels down? Here they go. And just put the tree of life there for them to choose. When AHAYAH already knew from the heavens, here they go, they wanted to follow Lucifer, Satan. So he put the tree of life, that's going back to say grace and mercy again, on the earth for them. And yet they followed what they followed in the heaven after Lucifer, Satan, was kicked on the earth. So they went strictly that. If you really look at Genesis chapter 3, you see how instant they did that. It was like it even appeared as if it was like a blink. They just bypassed the tree of life, went strictly to the opposite. And this here, because of Adam and Eve, that was the choice that earth received, Satan. So he had angels already coming down, ready to join him. Adam and Eve wasn't tossed down. They wasn't kicked down. They wasn't thrown down. They're not fallen angels. Where did they fall from? No, they came down in human flesh to follow Satan. And they did it quickly in the Garden of Eden. to set the pace for Satan to deceive the whole world. That's what they came to do. So they deceived the whole world. And that gave him what? What he was looking for up here. That AHAYAH wasn't going to allow him. See, AHAYAH didn't allow him to come nowhere near it. He took care of that situation instant with the 1/3. There they go. And with Satan, he quickly designed the earth and he brought him down like a lightning. And there he is. There he is in the tree of good and evil. And that's what Adam and Eve took on, good and evil, over the tree of life. So that's why Yah didn't just give them the tree of life. Listen how, y'all listen now, listen. Did you ever think, why would you put a tree of good and evil in the midst, like unto the tree of life? Because he knew already from the heavens where we're going to end up on the earth. So while we're trying to control people to be a certain way, to walk a certain way, to talk a certain way, to eat a certain way, to wear things around our heads a certain way, to not put makeup on a certain way, to wear fringes a certain way, heavens knows if they're going to return to him before your whole cult, your religion, your feast days. Before anything, heaven knew already. Because here in heaven, rests in his bosom is a book called the Tree of Life. No, the Book of Life. The Book of Life rests in AHAYAH. All that belongs to him is in that Book of Life. What do you mean? Now that Satan's people are being brought down, okay, AHAYAH also put his angels down. That's why when you heard the Adam and Eve knew each other, meaning had sexual intercourse, and they had Cain. But you do not, and you will not see where Adam and Eve knew each other again and had Abel. Why? Because Adam and Eve were two angels that was destined to follow Satan. You see? It's only lets you know, and again, they had Abel. Not again, Adam knew Eve and had Abel. When Adam and Eve had sexual intercourse, Eve announced that the Father had given her a man's child. She never announced that the Father had given her a second man child. People really don't understand what is spirit and truth. Spirit and truth is not coming for you to mess with it, to bring it in darkness, to make it wrong so you can appear to be right. Spirit and truth coming to stand tall, firm, and to stand on everything that's righteous, everything that is in the light, everything that's focused on the tree of life, that thirst. So it's not coming to play with patty cake with you all on this devil platform. So what happens? Adam and Eve were the angels that was still here undecided or having to deal with the 1/3 and Satan being kicked out. So AHAYAH made a way that they come to the earth. And when they came, they went strictly to where they desire from the heavens. So AHAYAH also had his own. So when you saw when you saw Abel coming, he wasn't announced as a man-child from the Father. He wasn't even announced to have been born because Adam and Eve knew each other through a sexual intercourse. This is things that is detached to the keys to the kingdom. That's why I say I don't know what I'm going to title this message. I will title it at the end before I upload it because it is got to have a power punch title. Okay, so therefore, here it is. The first that came from the heavens of AHAYAH's angel that didn't follow the mindset of Satan was Abel. He came down as an angel of AHAYAH. He was about the tree of life. So now you got Satan's son from Adam and Eve, which was Cain, and you have Abel, which is from the angels of the heaven. And who takes who? Cain take the life of Abel. You see how he did it? It wasn't no hate between each other. It wasn't because they fussed and argued with each other. It was because Cain represent Satan's side. And Abel was about and represent a higher side. So it was a war that's not flesh and blood. That's why it doesn't piece together where your flesh can really put it all together. Let me explain what I mean when I said this. That's why the blood of Abel was crying from the grave to the bosom of Yah. The grave couldn't even hold. Death couldn't even hold Abel. Death couldn't even silence Abel. Why? Because he was sent here strictly from the Father's throne. An angel that he was, I got something that's burning, you guys. I'll be right back. Let me kind of, I think I've done something. Okay, I'm back. So when you see Abel, you have to go back to your biblical word and you see, go back to the book and you'll see where Abel, he wasn't, Abel wasn't, he didn't come down as an angel to join Satan. He came down as this angel here. You see at the top, that was out of the book. That I call it the bosom of Yah because the heart of Yah. Okay, so that angel is Abel. He came down and he went strictly to this here. That's why he automatically knew how to give an offering. He already knew how to do what was righteous. It's because he came from here, from the righteous will of Yah, to uh, 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 how would I say it? To join what you call the tree of life. And the reason why the tree of life was still where it was, because it is a spiritual thing. Okay. So therefore, even though Abel was out of the Garden of Eden, he still came to thirst for the tree of life, to do the will of righteous for the Father. Okay. So therefore, that's why it was so quick how Cain murdered Abel. These weren't adult men. These were young men. And he killed his brother senseless. I mean, crazy. Because trying to destroy his brother, because he knew his brother was from here as an angel. And then he began to say, Cain began to say, not Cain, but the AHAYAH began to say to Cain, but all you had to do was do what was right. And you would have been accepted too. But you came down as to entertain your father, Satan. You see? Abel came down to represent me. Abel came down just like every other prophet that Yah sent down, that they murdered. I'm telling you, these good angels, they come down on a mission from the Father and they kill them. Because the world is being deceived by Satan. He are killing off anyone that has the light, anyone that thirsts for righteousness, anyone. This is the reason why AHAYAH have told us in time past and told us in our spirit, this fight is not against flesh and blood. These were brothers born to the earth, one killing the other, because this was a spiritual battle that started here, you guys, in the heavens. So he's telling us, this ain't a flesh and blood situation. This is a fight in the spirit realm, in principalities, in high places. You see? So while that battle was even among Abel and Cain, that was a battle in the spirit realm. Because Abel didn't do anything to Adam. Abel didn't do anything to Cain, for Cain to have done that. But his mission was, AHAYAH's whole mission was to send one of his down just to fulfill the will of how it's going to go even to today. That's why they won't accept the true prophets nor the true prophetess. The men of the Most High AHAYAH and the women that are here to do the work of AHAYAH, they're not going to be accepted. And don't think that the Father didn't know it before the foundation of the world. So everything, while we're thinking it's going according to our way, and the way we teach it, the way we preach it, the way we see it, it's still going according to the Father's will. That's why when it says in there, woman was created for man and not for woman, that's a lie from the pit of hell. Because every verse that AHAYAH speaks of and Yeshua speaks of, telling you about his Father, everything was done for his purpose and his will from the heaven. So if the heavens orchestrated everything that have been seen since the earth began, how dare we take it and make it about us? It has always been about the Father. And it's going to always be about my AHAYAH. Not about your church, your religion, your personal opinion, your personal feelings, your personal emotions. Not about you, but about the Most High AHAYAH. Okay? Now that Abel and Cain, and when Cain killed Abel, Abel's blood cried. Why? What was in that blood? Was the angel spirit. He cried from heaven, to the Father. And the Father heard. And how did he address Cain? Abel's what? Let him know he heard Abel from the grave. See, y'all? Nothing get past this one here. This is the power. This is the king. This is the beginning and the end. This is its all greatness. This is all excellent. This is all perfect. This is all good. This is all righteous. This is all just. This is all faith. This is all endurance. This is all trust. This is the beginning and the end right here on this throne. So you can take it and wake it and do whatever you want with it. You ain't got nothing coming in this flesh, y'all. Nothing. Because everything was predestined from the will of the Father. And that's what this message is going to cover. Okay? Now that we got this here out, now that you know that where the angels are chained up is not, they didn't get the opportunity to come to the earth with Satan. Soon as the earth was completed, he was thrown down, not thrown, he came down like a lightning, fast and quick. To me, the lightning represent quick, like a blink of an eye. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. So he ends here, and AHAYAH put two trees in the garden. Now you see in these trees, but see, y'all want you to see it spiritual. It's not literally trees, y'all. Okay? It's not literally trees. So I give you that because that's what the biblical speaks of, and I'm just giving you as an example. But don't forget what I said. We fight not against flesh and blood. This war is not a war against flesh and blood. So when you come after Sister Deborah, oh, she don't know what she talking about. She talking this and she talking this and she said this. Where she see this and where you see it. And the words you find that you understand, that you see. Because this thing is spiritual. None of it can be seen in the natural. Y'all's word is spirit. And it is true. Y'all's word cannot be seen by your naked eye. Y'all's word can't be seen, even looked at, or even considered by your flesh. Your fleshly eyes, nor your fleshly ears. This thing is spirit and truth. His spirit has to come in you, abide in you, and teach you all things before you can able to even think you can see. Before you are able to even think you can hear. And before you can get anything in understanding, you got to come this route of this spirit here. To come abide in you, to teach you. He's giving you his image, and the image is a spirit. Man teaches you this is a soul. You're dealing with flesh and spirit. And 99 point trillion ain't even recognize that they are a spirit and a flesh. Why? Because when the enemy puts soul in there, that keeps people from knowing that you got flesh and soul, and everything you do in your flesh is evil. But everything you do in not flesh and soul, that you're flesh and spirit. I'm sorry, I got to correct that. Not soul, you are flesh and spirit. Everything you do in your flesh is flesh. Everything you do in your spirit is spirit. They're always going to war against each other. Why? Because this thing is spirit and truth. It's going to tell you the truth of the matter. Your flesh going to war against your spirit because your flesh knows that it has its destiny to the grave. And it wants you to lose your spirit to damnation. That's how thick and powerful Satan's technique really is. But his power and his technique is really not powerful to somebody like me, because I know that he really has no power. All power rests in my Father, AHAYAH, AHAYAH. Even Satan's mission and destiny has been locked in my Father's will. So if you're running around here with all these people trying to get you to do things the way they proceed it, they teach it, they preach it, you go right ahead. That's why they took y'all to many books. They bringing in all these books. That's why they trying to lock you into Torah. It's a trap game. So you won't know that you've been set free right here. Let's go. Now that's what Sister Deborah is going to cover this message. And now that I have said that, I want you to first we're going to get into the mystery of it, the mystery of it. Okay, so you can then understand and how he has set you free, not that you be in bondage to all these ways. So women and men, I'm going to tell you, you don't have to sit under people that's teaching you this book, that's telling you Torah, that's telling you to hold the commandments, that's telling you all those other books. Notice, if you had found 50 books that has been taken out of this one book, what will it gain you in your spiritual walk? Not your flesh walk. What would it gain you in your spiritual walk to know about 5 other books that's been taken out of here? None of those books that has been taken out of one book, which is out of the Bible, can do anything or feed you any spirit and truth. None of it. Just like Torah. Torah can't give you nothing for your spirit. Oh, it can feed your flesh. It can make you so full in your flesh, you'll burst. That's how Torah and all these lost books and even the Bible that people swing a precept line, little here, it can get you in a situation where that's all you're eating, the food of the flesh. And then your body has its anorexia in the spirit because they ain't gave you no food that's spirit and truth. So when he says that this is a battle not between flesh and blood, that tells you right there, stand down, flesh. Men and women, stand down on this flesh. This thing is because of spirit. And because people have not been brought to what I'm taking you to, you're in captivity to your flesh. Okay? So first we're going to tackle, if my computer go off, I'm going to have to do a part 2. So first we're going to go with the mystery. Let's start with the mystery. What's going on with this mystery? Okay? And we're going to start off in Romans chapter 11. And we're going to find out what is this going on with this mystery. Romans chapter 11, verse 25. Romans chapter 11. Oh, no. I can't go to there. I can't go to Romans first. It has to be the second one. Colossians. We have to go to Colossians. Colossians chapter 1. That's where I have to go. I have to follow my 1, 2, 3 stage. It keeps me detached to everything, so it can bring everything to you, bring forth things real smooth. Okay? Just stick with me. Colossians chapter 1, verse 25 through 29. Colossians chapter 1, verse 25 through 29. Now just listen to this. Verse 25. Whereof I am made a minister, according to the dispensation of Yah. Dispensation of Yah. Now wait a minute. Listen to what he's saying, y'all. Come on now. Come on, go there now. We're finna go into this understanding what Sister Deborah said. The chapter of 1 in Colossians, chapter 1, verse 25. Whereof I am made a minister. How are you made a minister? Because you joined the church and you stayed under your pastor. You've been a student under your pastor for 10 years, and the pastor now make you a minister of the church? No. Listen. Whereof I am made a minister according to the dispensation of AHAYAH, which is given to me for you to fulfill the word of Yah. All of this is coming strictly from the throne. That's why I can't do away with Paul. Paul is speaking strictly from the throne. Notice he said that he's a minister according to AHAYAH, okay, to the dispensation of AHAYAH, which is given to me for you. His purpose was giving to us from AHAYAH, okay, to fulfill the word of Yah. Now, what did I tell you the word was? It's not the book, Yah. It's not the book. It's Yah himself. And I like the way he put that. That's why I say I can't do away with Paul like these people are talking negative about him now. These Hebrew men, these Negroes. See, the word of Yah, when people say something about the word of Yah, guess what? I know they know what they're talking about. I know, because they know that the word is not this book. The word is not all the books that was taken out of this book. The word is AHAYAH himself. Like John, the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was AHAYAH. The Word is AHAYAH. The Word was in the beginning with AHAYAH. You see? So therefore, what is this that's going on that we're taking on all the belief of the flesh of a man that we don't see no spirit and truth being taught to us, but yet we're believing what they're saying. Okay, now back to that verse. Okay, we in Colossians chapter 1, verse 25. And then it says, even the mystery. This is where 99 trillion don't understand. A lot of it, AHAYAH wants you to know that there is a slight mystery in it. And that's why a lot of them who are poor in spirit, a lot of them that's not really going to get it, because this book keep turning for some reason off of my page. But and he wants you to understand, because there is a slight mystery in some of this stuff. So I like it what it said, Colossians chapter 1, verse 26. Even the mystery which has been hidden from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints. To his saints. And that's speaking of Sister Deborah revealing things to you all. The mystery. That which was in the dark shall come to the light in the last days. I'm not hung up nor hung down on you getting this message. This message is so powerful to he that knows that there is a light and he's walking therein. This message is not for somebody who's playing patty cake, and playing games. Because a lot of people are locked in on this game playing, and that's the only route they're going to die in the gameplay. Okay? Now, in verse Colossians chapter 1, verse 26, it says, even the mystery which has been hidden from ages and from generations, but now is being manifest to his saints. And what else? What does it say in verse 21? To whom AHAYAH would make known what is the riches of the glory of this mystery among the Gentiles. Let's go on. Which is AHAYAH in you, the hope of glory. 99.1 trillion don't even know who Christ is, as the world call him, but I call him AHAYAH. But no one knows who Christ is. Christ is right here. This is Christ, the right hand of the Father, his power, his only begotten Son of Yah. Yeshua is the Son of Man that came down with the Son of Yah, which is Yah all power did Yeshua come down with. Now they become the Son of Man and the Son of Yah, working the mission of the Father. Okay? Now, in verse 28 of Colossians chapter 1, whom we preach, warning every man and teaching every man in all wisdom. What all wisdom that is? Spirit and truth, y'all. Your spirit has a wisdom separate from the wisdom that's in your flesh. Okay? That we may present every man perfect in AHAYAH Yeshua. He's letting you know the power has to bring you to that level. That's why in verse 27, it says, which is Christ, which is AHAYAH, which is the power, has to bring you. The power, which is Christ, which is AHAYAH, has to bring you to Yeshua. Now, here he says in verse 28 again, whom we preach, warning every man and teaching every man in all wisdom, that we may present every man perfect in the power of Yeshua. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's cover 29. Whereuntil I also labor, striving according to his working, which worketh in me mightily. See, Paul is telling you this is all coming from within, y'all. It's coming from his spiritual realm. And you hear the Hebrew Israelite men today are denying Paul up and down. Just like they did with Yeshua. They denied all of this and that. This didn't happen, that didn't happen. But they went and found all books and brought it to the surface to confound and confuse and deceive you all. When it says, when someone would come and they would bring new doctrine, all of those books that was lost, that's what that was. That was partaker. It wasn't the full of all of them, but when people bring all those books, those lost books, that was to take you off of what was before you, what AHAYAH has allowed to be before you. Because none of the books would bring you to what Sister Deborah is revealing to you today. Spirit and truth. Now, we have to go now to Romans chapter 11, verse 25. This is such an awesome lesson for you all to set the captives totally free. Because a lot of our people are running behind heathens, Gentiles, and Hebrew Israelites, cults and groups, and they're not teaching no spirit and truth. They're not teaching what Sister Deborah is giving you. It's high time you grip it, and if you don't, you're good, because heavens already know who you come down here to serve. So where we at, and I'm gonna tell you where Sister Deborah and you all are at, where we messed up from the floor, is when we take all of this power, all this authority, and all this spirit and truth, and make it the earth situation. Make it flesh and blood. This thing is spirit. The beginning and end is held right here on the throne of the Most High Yah. And we, okay, I'm gonna have to hook up my my computer because it's dying out, and I'm not going to let the devil get the glory in this message. No, I will not. So I'm going to do what I need to do to keep this message going until I can't, I have nothing, and I will bounce right back with part 2. Okay? Okay, now I'm hoping that did it, and it's going to give me more. Now this message is so powerful that it will change your life forever, but it would also take you to the realm of, or take you to the narrow gate. At least take you there, show you the direction. Now in Romans chapter, we're talking about the mystery. I'm trying to get you all to understand that there are slight mysteries in this that you must know. And I had to start with the mysteries, and then I'm going to start with the angels, and then I'm going to start what took place before the foundation of the world. Is going to sum it all up. Okay, the mystery is in Romans chapter 11, verse 25. The mystery in Romans chapter 11, verse 25. And it reads, For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant in this mystery, lest ye shall be wise in your own concept. That wise is what I try to explain to many people while I be teaching on the devil platform. You have a wisdom in your flesh. You have a knowledge in your flesh. You have the understanding in your flesh. That's what's ruled the world beliefs of biblical religions, denominations, is what's in your flesh is ruling all of these things. That's why the gate is so narrow. That's why. Because we're thinking we're ruling it because of how we're a scholar. We know Hebrew. We know Greek. We know Torah. No, you're ruling it out of your flesh. Your flesh is the part that he says, your thoughts are not my thoughts. Your ways are not my ways. My ways are spiritual. My thoughts are spiritual. And except, hallelujah, you come to the realm of spirit and truth, you're still out there. Somewhere in darkness, going to and fro, and teaching the multitude to be falling away from what is spirit and truth. Because the multitude have already fell away, and you just adding on to it. Okay. In Romans chapter 11, verse 25, let's go there again. It reads, For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own concept, that the blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentile be come. Okay, what he's saying here is Israel is going to be blind in part, not in fullness, but in part, until the Gentile, okay, become in. Now, the Gentile already, their part has already taken place. What has happened to Israel? They're sitting right now in the judgment of the Most High AHAYAH and won't teach it, preach it, or proclaim that the judgment of the Most High is on them. And that's what you're seeing in the world today when you see men on a high level of hate toward their women. Women on a high level of retaliation toward the men hate. Men not understanding that they have forsaken AHAYAH a long time ago. I heard a pastor called Jenny, whatever his name. He was teaching. I heard this yesterday when he was telling the men that if you have not taken care of your family, your children, not somebody else's children, not going to church and shouting and wearing fringes and leading the silly women and got a cult, a church, and you have not taken care of your family, your children. He says that you are, believe it or not, Yah is not hearing you. He's not focusing on you, and you will never make it to the kingdom. I am full agreement with him. Not because this pastor is saying it. Look how long it waited to say that. He talks all kind of crap, but he never hit the core of spirit and truth of the matter. And he didn't hit it to the fullness, but he did pretty good. He did. I'm going to give him that. He did pretty good. Not because he was talking about the men. It's because their salvation, their deliverance from AHAYAH has been affected. And they are too ignorant to see that they have forsaken what AHAYAH had given them and have not provided and taken care of, fed, clothed, and housed what AHAYAH put in their womb. The woman was to be created to meet the will of the Father, not to meet the pleasure of a man. It was to meet the will of the Father. Why? Because all things were created for his purpose and his will. So when he made her to meet with man to bring forth his will and his purpose. And man took it as if it was their power. It was their authority. It was their this, because what they continue to read without understanding that their wisdom and knowledge and understanding they were getting it from their flesh, and their spirit was anorexium and has died to what is spirit and what is truth. Now, in Romans chapter 11, verse 25, it tells Israel, in part happened to Israel. The blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. The fullness of the Gentiles is finished, y'all. It's been finished. But what is happening to Israel? Israel is more darkness than darkness itself. It does not understand that this thing is spirit and this is truth. Okay? So let's now go to 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 7. We're trying to show you the mystery of some things that AHAYAH had already predestined, ordained to come or to happen. And it still rests today as a mystery because of people not understanding spirit and truth. Only understanding the flesh of man's understanding. Only understanding the flesh wisdom of man. The flesh knowledge of man. Not having any understanding of the spirit. No understanding of the spirit wisdom. The spirit's knowledge. The spirit understanding. All they understand is what they've been taught through the flesh. Now, 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 7, and it reads, but we seek the wisdom of AHAYAH in a mystery. Hallelujah. There you go. Yah said we serve him in spirit. We don't serve him in flesh. We can't worship him in flesh. We can't serve him in flesh. So we have to understand how must we come to him in the spirit. How we coming? By understanding all things are spirit and it is truth. And it comes from AHAYAH himself, not man nor woman. Now listen to what taking place in 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 7. But we speak wisdom of AHAYAH in a mystery. And that's what your sister is doing right today. This is exactly what I'm doing right today. Even the hidden wisdom. See, that's what I was just telling you all. Men that's out there, that's Maureen, seers, bishops, priests, apostles, prophets, prophetess, evangelists, pastors, bishops, whatever. Maureen, watchman, seer, you've been lying. You've been teaching people from the level of your flesh wisdom. You've been teaching people from the level of your flesh knowledge. You've been teaching people from the level of your flesh understanding. That can easily be gripped and grasped because that's you reading and perceiving, and you're understanding your thoughts. You're understanding your ways. You never taught the people that it's not about your thoughts. Hallelujah. It's not about your ways. And until you're able to know his thoughts. Hallelujah. And his ways. For they are spirit and they are truth. So you've been lying, teaching, misleading, deceiving the multitude by great number. Now here in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 7, it reads, but we speak the wisdom of AHAYAH in a mystery. Let's get to that mystery. Even a hidden wisdom. That hidden wisdom I've come to tell you as a prophetess in the wilderness that has been taught from the level of the wilderness. I come to tell you that spiritual wisdom is from the Most High AHAYAH. And it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 7, even the hidden wisdom which AHAYAH ordained before the world until our glory. Yah created this wisdom. He is this wisdom. He is this knowledge. He is this understanding. But we miss out of it because we reject spirit and truth. Because spirit and truth put man down and uplift the Most High AHAYAH. Let's go to the next one. We're going to Ephesians. In Ephesians chapter 1. In Ephesians chapter 1. chapter 1 and verse 9. We will go to verse 9 through 11. In Ephesians chapter 1, verse 9 through 11. Having made known unto us the mystery of his will. See, if it was so, it would fool the very elect. But because those who came down as servants, as sons of AHAYAH, we cannot be fooled. Can we do sin because we're on a sinful earth? Because Satan has deceived? Yes. But we cannot be fooled. You see? Now listen to this. In Ephesians chapter 1, verse 9. Having made known unto us the mystery of his will. See, and this is what Sister Deborah is giving you all. The mystery of the will that is in the heavens, in the bosom of the Most High Yah, that has been there from the beginning to the end. He is the beginning and the end and everything in between. So Sister Deborah is trying to bring you closer to his bosom, which is the light. Okay? Now, what does it say? According to his good pleasure, which he has purpose in him. Going back to telling y'all, this is how you have all these different denominations, all these different Negro men trying to be kings, leaders, and rulers. They are not kings, they are not leaders, and they are not rulers. Why? Because they are not falling under spirit and truth. None whatsoever. They do not even know how to reach out to take up the tree of life. And because why they can't reach out and take up the tree of life? Because they thirst not for it. They think they want people to thirst after their teaching, their wisdom. They want people to thirst after their knowledge. They want people to thirst after their understanding, which is in the flesh. So therefore, they lead the people not to the tree of life, which is spirit and truth. That when they thirst, they shall be set free. They shall live free in liberty. And they shall know that I might be in captivity in a land, but I am free in the spirit realm. Once you get free in the spirit realm, you become free in the natural realm. But they teaching you only that you are all that and some in the flesh, and leaving your spirit anorexium. And matter of fact, your spirit is dead. Okay. Now, I want to go over that again before I get off of Ephesians chapter 1, verse 9. Having made known unto us the mystery of his will, according to his good pleasure, which he has purpose in him. When did he do that? Before the foundation of the world. These people on these devil platforms talking yang, 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 yang to you. And that's why they're turning to situation that's happening in the world to confound you guys, to get you away from the light, you guys, to get you away from spirit and truth, you guys, to get you away from righteousness, you guys. This is where they're taking you all. In darkness, in pitch darkness, where they rest and they reside. They're taking you in that direction. They're not taking you to the light. Now listen to what this says. And this is in Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 9. Having made known unto us the mystery of his will. He has given those the mystery of his will. Wait a minute, Father, Yah, I got something to say so I can let them understand this. Father, you told me, Sister Deborah, that I didn't have your thoughts, Father, Yah. You told me my thoughts wasn't your thoughts, Father, Yah. You told me my ways wasn't your ways. But look like you done gave me your thoughts, Father, Yah. You done gave me your ways, Father, Yah. Why, Father, Yah? Because, Deborah, you're standing in the light. Deborah, you're standing in spirit and truth. Deborah, you're standing in faith. Deborah, you're standing trusting in me. Deborah, you're thirsting day and night. Deborah, you eat from the tree of life. Deborah, you are according to my will. Deborah, I give you my thoughts, Deborah. I give you my ways, Deborah. Feed that to them in this day. For that day we are in is pitch dark. Give them a pin needle of light that they may have something that they can hold on to. Now, let's get back to this. In verse 9 of Ephesians chapter 1, according to his good pleasure, which he has purpose in him, that in the dispensation of the fullness of time, he might gather together in one all things through the power, hallelujah, through the power which is what? Here's the power. This here is the power of AHAYAH. It is his right hand and it's stretched out over. Men and women won't teach you that. But yet they said they this and they said they that. Go back to Ephesians chapter 1. Verse 10. That in the dispensation of the fullness of time, he might gather together in one all things, what? All things coming through one in what? In what? The Son of Yah, which is AHAYAH's right hand power, which is his stretched out arm, his power, his beloved, his only begotten Son. HaMashiach. Christ. You notice you don't see Yeshua. You don't see Yeshua in there because he's telling you what he did with his power. Or who he is. Now, let's go on. Both which are in the heavens and which are on the earth, even in him. That's Christ. Christ is HaMashiach in Hebrew. It is AHAYAH's right hand and his stretched out arm. It's on the right hand of him, and Yeshua sits on the right hand of the Father, waiting for his time to come to go on the four corners. He ain't going to be able to come like that. He's going to have to take that right hand, which is HaMashiach, the power of Yah. So that's why he's sitting there, because he got another mission to come to collect his. And he's sitting there because that right hand has to direct him to that position. It has to give him the power to do that. That's why he's sitting on the right hand of the Father. Let's go. And I like the way the Most High is giving this to Paul, because it's so spiritual, because it's letting you know Christ, the power, is right here. Okay? It's the one that has gathered together all in one, all things in his power. We run around here thinking this is Yeshua. No, it's his power. See, he said if you miss Genesis 1 and 2, you'd have missed the beginning to the end and everything in between. So everybody at the sound of my voice, if you didn't understand Genesis 1, Genesis 2, he's saying that you have missed the end, the beginning, the end, and everything in between. You're lost without a cause. Because Genesis 1 and 2 carry the great mission, carry a great message. It carry a great righteousness of spirit and truth. And why it carry it, if you miss that, Genesis chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 2, you missed it all. Because you don't know the truth of the matter. Because that's where all the power started. And you forsaken the power. He said, denying the power therein. And that's what has happened. And that's where the world has survived on, denying his power. Now, verse 11, it says, in whom, let me see if it's 11 that I still go to. Yeah, I go to 11. In whom also we have obtained an inheritance, being predestined according to the purpose of him who worketh all things after the counsel of his own will. No, Deborah, no. We rule down here. Shut your mouth. Don't tell those people that AHAYAH rule from the heaven. Don't tell those people that he predestined us from the heavens. Don't tell those people that he got all power in his hand. Don't tell us, but listen to Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 11. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 9 through 11 gives you a whole overlook of what I'm talking about, AHAYAH from the heaven. It takes it out of the authority of your pastor, your bishop, your Maureen, your seer, your watchman, your apostles, your prophets, your prophetess, your teachers, your preachers, your ministers, your evangelists, anybody. It takes all the power out of them, and it goes and takes it back. I like this what Paul is saying, because it takes all the power back to the throne of the Most High AHAYAH, and it gives the credit to the power of his right hand, which is HaMashiach in the world called Christ, and not to you, Negro men. Okay, so in verse 11, it says, we in Ephesians chapter 1, verse 11, in whom also we have obtained an inheritance, being predestined according to the purpose of him who worketh all things after the counsel of his own, not the counsel of Yeshua, after the counsel of his own, after not the counsel of Yeshua, but his own will did he design the beginning to the end. And this is what we have forsaken. We have denied the right hand power all the time because we never knew that it existed when the time he created it. That was the word us. That was the word that he said, let. He was telling the right hand power to bring it forth. That's why he said if you missed it in Genesis 1 and 2, you missed it all. So you're lost still without a cause. Either way it go. Okay? So I like that. I love the way Paul presented that, because in the spirit and truth, I'm in full agreement and understanding it in my spirit, and my spirit bubbles up as I speak. Okay? Now we're going to go to Timothy, First Timothy, and then we're going to go into First Timothy, chapter 3. First Timothy chapter 3. And I don't know if this is going to give me what I want, but I'm just going to go there to see what is in First Timothy chapter 3, verse 9. Not because we have not power, but to make ourselves an example unto you to follow us. No, that's not it. So I'm in the wrong one. First Timothy chapter 3, verse 9. And it reads, First Timothy chapter 3, verse 9. Holding the mystery of faith in a pure conscience. See that? Holding the mystery of faith in a pure conscience. And let me explain to you all. The reason why he said a mystery of the faith in pure conscience is because faith is one of the most powerful, and it's not even hidden. I hate to say that it's hidden because it's not hidden. It's one of the powerful action of Yah that has been missing in all the church, in all the religion, in all the denominations, in all the beliefs, in all the seers, the Moors, the watchmen, the pastors, the prophets, the teachers, the prophetess, the prophets, the apostles, the evangelists, the minister has been missing. See, faith is something that comes from the bosom of this here. I call that his heart. That's where faith comes from. Faith comes from the bosom of Yah. Faith is not it's not something that you have. Faith is not something that you build up on. Faith is not something that you give yourself. You can give yourself faith in your flesh. But the faith that this book would talk about, which 99 point quadrillion don't know, as the faith that this one is talking about, is not the faith of your flesh. It is the faith of your spirit that AHAYAH gives you here before you come here. Okay? He gives you that through his power, which is Christ, which is the world called Christ. I call him Messiah. He gives you everything you need with this right hand. He gives it to you when you get down here. That's why Abel was, when he came, he was able to do righteous from the beginning, because he came down with all the power to do what is righteous, the faith, the trust, the righteousness. See, you got a righteousness in your flesh. But what Sister Deborah is trying to teach people, the spiritual realm of spirit and truth. There's a righteous that rests in your spirit. You cannot get that in your spirit unless it comes from the throne itself, the Father. Okay, now we're going to First Timothy, and that's not only just with faith, with trust, and the word believe, that's along with it. That's along with it. So when people didn't understand, when he went into the Gentiles was already right here. Okay? When he went into the Gentiles to usher them in to the branch, where he brought them in through Paul. Paul was the action of the flesh to teach us the mission of the Spirit. And the mission was, and I'm explaining that to you, the Gentiles wasn't what you see today. The Gentiles was in AHAYAH before the heavens began and the earth. And we're going to read that. Yah had already placed the Gentiles in his bosom. They was a part of his will. That when that time period come, others that he sent down. See, when you see the angels in the heavens, the spirits of Yah that sends them down, there's no white, there's no black. You notice that. They just spirits. There's no Gentiles, there's no Hebrew. There's no Russia, there's no China. In AHAYAH, they are spirits. That's why Yeshua is not coming down like a Negro. Negroes. That's why you can't say he's a Negro. You can't say that Yeshua, Hamashiach and Yeshua are Negroes. They are Hebrew Israelites. They are not. They are spirit. You cannot line them up with you. Yeshua became flesh of a Hebrew Israelite bloodline. But in heaven, he is a spirit. And you back, he's not going to look like your ugly tails. Even you going to take off that body you in. And when you go where you're going, whether it's the lake of fire or eternal heaven, you're not going to have your dreads. You're not going to look like you look. You're going to be a spirit. Cut that mess out. Learn spirit and truth. So, in 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 9, it reads, holding the mystery of faith in a pure conscience. And one day I'm going to cover faith. Faith is not what you crank up and you make. It is in the bosom of Yah. He gives that to his before they get down here. When they get down here, they falling on the earth loaded with sin. Just as easy as Satan. Now listen to this very careful, because this is a lesson to every one of you all Negroes that steps on the face of the earth, dead and alive, in the grave or not. Hear this and hear it well. When you come from the heavens to the earth is loaded with Satan's debris, sin. So when you come from there and you hit the land of sin, surely you're going to detach, because you're not just flesh. You're just not the spirit anymore. You're flesh and blood. Let's go down. Genesis 6. So that's why I want to tell you men, you heathens, you Gentiles, you Hebrew Israelites, stop lying. Stop lying. Because he said it's a time period where you were partially blind. Okay. In Genesis chapter 6, okay, verse 2, that the sons of Yah saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives as all they which they chose. Where are they? These are the sons of men. No, listen. These are the sons of Yah. These are the sons of Yah. These are the sons of Yah. When they hit the earth, they down here on a earth that who rules? Satan. Satan's. They in Satan's territory. So they come from here as angels with all the gifts that Yah has given them. They hit the earth and they detach to Satan and his ways. Why? 99.1 trillion wouldn't know. The reason why they detach to Satan It's because they come from here down to here. When they get down to here, they got two parts to them. Here they have one part, which is spirit. When they get down here, they got two parts. Now they become spirit and flesh. And the flesh become weak to the ways of men. Men follow Satan. Go to Genesis 6 again. Oh, they want to tell you it's about the giants. It ain't got a darn thing to do with no giants. It ain't got a darn thing to do with fallen angels. Sister Deborah want to tell you spirit and truth. Stop lying. Genesis chapter 6, verse 2. That the sons of Yah, here's the sons of Yah, came down. Saw the daughters, when they came down, now they what? They spirit and flesh. Now what happened? They saw the daughters of men that was already down here loaded with sand, taking their daughters and selling them off. Don't care how young they were, just as they doing today. Sex trafficking these babies, selling these women out. Pastor Dow, you don't know what you're into, but you're gonna find out. Only in Yah's due season. So here it is. He's telling them in verse 2 that the sons of Yah saw the daughters of men. You're talking about the flesh of men. Had daughters, that they were having daughters and selling them off to men. So when the angels, the sons of Yah came down, here they go. They hit the earth. What are they now? They flesh and spirit. Now listen to this. And verse 2, Genesis chapter 6, verse 2, that the sons of Yah saw the daughters of men, and they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chosen. Verse 3, and AHAYAH said, my spirit, in which I have given them, watch this here, shall not always strive with man, for that he also is what? Flesh. Yet his days shall be numbered, and 20 years. He's telling you right now, the reason why he destroyed is really a sexual thing that was taking place. That was one of the main things. They hid it from you all so you couldn't see the fullness of what was taking place. They detach it with, it's going to be like the days of Noah, marrying and giving in marriage. It's deeper than that. Y'all said every thought in verse 5, Genesis chapter 6, verse 5. And Yah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was evil continually. Stop letting them lie to you all about what took place back in the days of Noah. Don't let them trap you in giants. Don't let them trap you in fallen angels. These angels did not fall. They came down here to mission for the Father. They got down here and saw what the wicked of men, M-E-N, males, were doing with their daughters. And they saw it, and their flesh desired exactly what they saw in their flesh. And y'all wanted to make a statement. Wait a minute. My spirit that's in them that came down here with them, they were shaped in the flesh. And it shall not always strive with them, chastising them, disciplining them, for they are flesh as well. And when those angels saw the men, these were men, these were males, women. When they saw what the men were doing with their daughters, selling them off no matter how young they were, allowing them to have as many as they please. Y'all said their imagination was evil continually. Stop lying, men. Stop lying, Hebrew Israelites. Stop lying. You've been lying since the beginning of time. And he ended the world and brought it back, and you're still a liar. You want people to think it's about fallen angels and giants. These angels did not fall. They came down here. as the mission of AHAYAH. And AHAYAH calls them the son of Yah. And I'm going to read verses showing you the son of Yah, how Yah is not going to hold them blameless. Because when they came down here, they came out here where they had to be around people that followed Satan. And he had deceived the whole world. What chance did they have? What chance did they have to come down in the flesh? When Satan had already deceived the world, but Yah said, I'm going to hold you blameless, sons of Yah. I'm going to redeem you back through Yeshua HaMashiach. So don't worry about it. And when he did, didn't he go down to hell? Snatch the keys. Because he ain't going to hold what belongs to Yah. And it was said, some came out of the grave. Come on now, y'all. This thing is spirit and it is true. It is not the way you've been taught. Let's get to it. So I wanted to show you the difference between when Yah said his spirit shall not strive. Strive means chasing them, chastise them, get on them and get at them. Because he said they were flesh too. They came down here in the flesh. And they saw what the sons of men were doing. M-E-N were doing with their daughters. But when you go back to the new, as they call the New Testament, I don't call it that, but the New Testament, you hear them like it's going to be like the days of Noah. It's going to be like the days of Noah, marrying and giving in marriage. Stop lying. Bring it deeper as where it was. The days of Noah was deeper than that. It was every imagination was evil and wicked. Where is that in the book? Where is that in the book in the days? The days of Noah. Why did they bring that to the Old New Testament? Come on now. Because it was deeper to where the sons of Yah saw the wickedness of men and decide to be partaker in the wickedness of men. Praise the Most High. Let me get back to 1 Timothy. 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 9. Holding the mystery of the faith in a pure conscience. That is where I'm going to, but listen to this. And I'm going to go to 10. We're in 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 10. And let these also first be proved. Let them use the office of a deacon, being found blameless. Blameless. Because that faith, Yah ain't gave nobody the faith that's not belonging to him. Because faith is right in the center of his bosom. That's where faith comes from. So if you think you got faith, you's a lie from the pit of hell. It only comes from one place, and that's the bosom of Yah. And if he give you that, guess what? You are his, and you're going to return to him. Okay? Now it's time to explain you as an angel. Let's go to Matthew 22. We're going to Matthew 22, and I'm holding up on good time. Praise the Most High, AHAYAH, that he allowed me to, because I'm surprised my computer ain't went out. But if it does, I'll go back on part 2. I upload on part 2. Okay, now we're finna find out more about the angels. Okay, Matthew 22 and verse 30. Matthew 22 and verse 30. For in the resurrection, they are neither married nor are given in marriage, but are as angels of AHAYAH in the heavens. See, all of them are angels. Now, only thing about the heavens, we're not going to have those who had the desire to follow Satan. They're not going to be there. They're not going to be there. So when Yah brought down here, you remember the sons of Yah? Here they go. They came down too to the earth. Yah put the sons of Yah down here too. When he was talking with Job, he said, and he was meeting with the sons of Yah. Those were the angels that came from the heavens. They wasn't the tainted angels. They came also. That's who Adam and Eve was. That's why they quickly detached to Satan's messages and listened to Satan. Because they came from here and they desired to follow him, but they didn't come to get chained down. But they had the same spiritual mindset. So Yah brought them down to the earth and let them walk straight to where they wanted to go. And that was to follow Satan anyway. Okay, and they did. But he had some angels he put also down here. Okay, and those angels got to return back to his bosom. Their spirit got to come back to him. Okay, they are predestined for eternal life. They're in the Lamb Book of Life. So sometimes people might say, well, I don't understand why I know all this here, and when I'm reading it, all this is being revealed. I don't talk because it don't match what everybody has taught these years. That's why it's not matching, because you are called from the heavens. And that's where you're going to return in eternity. So you are going to be the one that has the faith, the trust, the true belief, and you're returning back to the bosom of Yah. And that's the same thing with the Gentiles. They're going to the reason why they going in is because they're going in through faith and through belief. That faith and belief that they're coming, going to gain eternal life is because faith and belief is right here in Yah. It's in the bosom of Yah. Faith and belief is Yah. So he gave and put in them faith and belief. So when Yeshua HaMashiach, they'll believe in Yeshua HaMashiach. Okay, in their natural, they'll say they believe. They'll confess it out of their mouth that they believe. But those that are going to return, they're going to return to Yah, whether we like it or not. Gentiles, white, black, whatever, China, Russia. There's many coming back to the Yah's bosom, just like we would. Okay, so we're in Matthew chapter 22, verse 30. And we're talking about the angels. Verse 30. In the resurrection, they neither married nor given in marriage, but are as angels of AHAYAH in heaven. Now, Yeshua is telling you that. Angels. Because we came down as angels, we're going to remain angels, y'all. That's where we came down. Those were angels chosen to come down in your mother's womb. Okay? Whether it was the dark angels or the light angels, all the angels were assigned to come down in our wombs through the Father. You see? And a lot of the angels that matches their father's ways were angels that were already wanting to follow wicked and evil. Okay? And they came down here detached the ways of their fathers, already cursed. Because they were already cursed from their father's womb. Okay, that's why a lot of women got to stop blaming themselves about the way these children are. A father's Haya already addressed that. He said the children, iniquity, meaning their sin, the wicked, and whatever, it comes from the father. I will visit it 3 to 4 generations of the father. Because Ahaya know where it come from. Women, silly women, get somewhere and sit down. You ain't got a chance. But women, stop being ignorant. It comes from the Father. Even your wicked ways will come from your Father. He letting you know that's where it's coming from. That's the reason why he needed her to be created to meet his will according to his predestined, ordained situation and how he brought angels down to the earth. So it wasn't that woman was being created to lust and feel the lust of man. That's a lie from the pit of hell. It was created to meet Yah's obligation to bring these angels down to the earth so everything can walk his will out. Not your lust will, not your lust desire, not your lust feeling. And see, that's what happened in Genesis. They got messed up from the floor. The men were having little girls, just like they do it today. But it's hidden today because they took it and they put it in there. They shall be marrying and giving in marriage. That throws you totally off. What do that have to do with what they were doing in Genesis chapter 6 that caused Ahaya to end the world? Marrying and giving in marriage. Come on now, y'all. You see how they smeared things? You see how they smeared things to make it look like, oh, it's not that serious. It's going to be like the days of Noah. They're going to be eating and feasting and gathering and buying. Oh, baby. What does that say in Genesis 6? Buying, selling, eating. How did that outride every imagination of the mind was wicked and evil? That can't compare to what took place to cause the Father to destroy the whole world. See how man has smeared everything to confound, to mess up, so we won't get spirit and truth. Spirit and truth comes strictly from AHAYAH. And that's what they did. They made you lock in on man's teaching, man's understanding and man's everything when he destroyed the world because of MALE. And they got away with it, as they're getting away with it today. A lot of sex trafficking, messing with these babies, messing with these little girls. And they thinking they're getting away with it. Having many wives as they please. So fulfilling their lust desire. When they put that before them, they stepping straight into Genesis chapter 6. What caused Yah to end the world. And here Yeshua was telling them they're not gonna be marrying and giving in marriage. He's telling you exactly what I was telling you. Everything in the heavens is gonna be spirit. Nothing is gonna be flesh. No dreads, no this and no that. None of that is gonna be spirit. There's not gonna be a marriage. Who wife she gonna be? You see the sickness of the flesh of men. Listen to what it says. Matthew chapter 22 and 30. And let's go to 29. Let's go to 29. Matthew chapter 22 and verse 29. And we're going to go down to 30. Yeshua answered and said unto them. These are men coming to them. These are men, males. Ye do error, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of Yah. There go that power. Now go back and read Matthew's 22, verse 29. He's letting you know that you don't know nothing about the power. Sister Deborah trying to tell y'all that. She's been telling you that since she's been on here. You don't know nothing about that right hand nor that stretched out arm. That's the power right there. Okay, and you only can know through it. The only way you're going to know it if the Spirit of the Most High has embedded it in you before the foundation of the world. Okay? Now he's saying in Matthew 22, verse 29, Yeshua answered and said unto them, he's talking to males, y'all, men. Now listen to what he said. Ye do error, not knowing the scriptures. Sister Deborah been telling y'all since I've been on this Deborah platform, these men is loony as a loony berry. They know nothing spirit and truth. They know people boosting them to be lions and leaders and rulers and teachers and pastors and Mories and watchmen and seers, and they know no truth. No spirit and truth. So here Yeshua said, ye do error. He's talking to you today, men, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of Yah. The power of Yah laid everything from the heavens and the earth. From the beginning to the end and everything in between. When you don't know the power, you don't know nothing. That means you're teaching out of your flesh. Okay? Your wisdom, your knowledge, and your understanding is being taught to many on this Devil platform. And you giving yourself the credit and the boost and the authority. Just like Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Puff Daddy, and all of them that's famous. You giving wicked information. And you wonder why they in darkness. You are there too. That's why. Okay. And in the resurrection, they neither married nor given in marriage, but as an angel of AHAYAH in heaven. Why? Because they came down as angels. When you loose that flesh, come judgment, and when we all return back, we're gonna be back to what we was, angels, spirits. Okay, without the flesh. Okay. Now we're going to go into Job. Job 38. Let's go into Job. We're talking about angels here, y'all. Trying to give you all some idea about you are and was an angel. And just because you in flesh don't mean nothing. You are a spirit. You're not. That's why he tell you you're fighting against not flesh and blood. And he's telling you that. But it don't make no difference. He can sit there and tell these men and women that 20 million more years and they still ain't gonna get it. Job chapter 38, verse 7. Job chapter 38, verse 7. When the morning star sings, when the morning stars sing together, and all the sons of Yah shout for joy. You hear that? Do you hear that? This is what AHAYAH is saying when he's speaking to Job. This is what he's saying. When the morning stars sing together, and all the sons of AHAYAH shout for joy. These are sons of AHAYAH, the same sons of AHAYAH that came down in Genesis 6. They came down and he said, I'm not going to always strive with them, for they are flesh. Their flesh came down here, saw what males were doing, and got attached to them and wanted and desired to do the same thing. Y'all called their time period on their flesh. He called their flesh time period on the earth. And I said, Father, why are you putting that there? They life is going to be 100 and something. Where are you going with that? He said, I'm just showing them, I'm telling them something. They ain't going to get it, but you going to get it. Tell them what I'm saying. He said that, that's why I put a restriction on that nasty flesh. You ain't going to last no longer than that. But they flesh is going to be destroyed. He ain't saying nothing about their spirit. They are sons of Yah. When they get down here, they follow Satan because Satan deceived the whole world. But does that take them from being the sons of Yah? No, no, no. You cannot be taken from Yah because of the things that you are doing. He know he placed you down here amongst those things. And he gave you a flesh that sin. A flesh that don't sin, but once it's down on this earth where Satan is at, it's going to sin. But he said, hold up. That's fine and dandy. I done shed a lamb. I done used an angel as a lamb to sacrifice, to redeem you back to me. No matter what sin you committed, you coming back to me. This here message break every protocol that gives the power of who AHAYAH is. All power. It gives it to the man's hand that cannot hold it. We have given him so much power and have forsaken the great, awesome power that orchestrated the beginning to the end. And that's why he said several times, I'm going to hold you blameless because you mine. I don't care if you go down on that earth, you mine. And guess what? Satan going to know you mine. But you're going to be redeemed back to me because you are the sons of Yah. You came here as the sons of Yah. You get what I'm saying? That's what he was meeting with them. And Satan joined in when he was meeting with Job. Now, listen to what he says here in Job 38 and verse 7. When the morning star sings together and all the sons of Yah shouted for joy. We are sons of Yah in the flesh. Our spirits are sons of Yah. But our flesh are in a sinful world. Okay? Now, let's go to Matthew 4. Let's go to Matthew 4. We are angels. We are the sons of Yah. They're going to lie to you until the world is in. But you know what I do? I'm going to tell y'all something. Y'all better praise the Most High AHAYAH for giving you, Sister Deborah, the blessing that he is giving you, Sister Deborah, to get line this thing up in spirit and truth, to set you free. Because your flesh has gotten your spirit in captivity in a heavy way to where you cannot worship and serve the Most High Yah as you will. Because guess what, y'all? Guess what? No matter what, we belong to him. We knows. We don't know it, but it's something in us that knows that we got a connection. But when that thing is dead, it's because we allow the flesh of who we are, our worst enemy, and others to beat up on our spirit. And our spirit wants to let us know we are free in him and free indeed. Matthew chapter 4, verse 11. Let's read. Wait a minute. Hold up. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Matthew chapter 4, verse 11. And it reads, Then the devil leaves him, and behold, the angel came and ministered to him. You see that? Let's go up a little higher. Matthew chapter 4, verse 10. Then said Yeshua unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, where was it written? For it is written in the bosom of the Father. Everything is already written, y'all. Past tense. Just like the Lamb Book of Life, it's in Yah. It's past tense. So if your name is already there, no matter what you do on this earth, you're already in the Lamb Book of Life. So all this monkeying around, these people with these clown clothes is trying to let you think you're supposed to dress like this, eat like this, act like this, be like this. Let me tell you something. They have caused a great falling away because people are confused and confounded because they never found spirit and truth. They're lost. Okay. Matthew chapter 10, verse 10 and 11. Then said Yeshua unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written. Where is it written? What's that? You see how Yeshua telling him? It's already written. Sister Deborah is giving you this message, telling you the same thing. Y'all, it's already written. Satan ain't got no business worrying you out. You shouldn't be sitting here saying, I'm dying and I need medicine. My body is this or my body is that. I need surgery. Or I need a this and I need that. And, murdering and lying and stealing and killing. Okay? Sexual lust and porno. Hateful and envy and jealous. You are founded here in the Father already. And that's what Yeshua was saying to Satan on the mountain. He was telling him, it is already written. So Sister Deborah's coming to tell you the same likewise. It is spirit and truth, y'all. Spirit and truth is already in the bosom of Yah. It is finished. It's already written. So when you hear me say it's finished, it's over, y'all, because it's already over in him. He knows the beginning to the end. So is it not finished in him? Yes, and that's what he tells me. It's finished, Deborah. So, you see? Why these people telling you, you got to do this. You got to walk like this. You got to drive like this. You got to eat like this. You got to follow like this. Wait a minute, hold up. Before that was, we were in him. We're already in him. And I'm going to tell you the key to it. I'm going to say it now because I'm going to mention it again. The key to this. Why did he put us in him and locked us in him? With faith, trust, belief, endurance, long-suffering, meekness, kindness. Why did he put those things in us? Because he had it in him. All of that faith is founded in him. Trust is in him. Belief is in him. He gives it to you. That's what's going to allow you to understand you coming back to me because I gave you that and you coming back to me. I gave that because you're going to need it because it's in me. Faith is me. Trust is me. Believe is me. Yes, flesh got to believe. Flesh got to trust. Flesh got a faith, but it's not me. The faith that we have is already out of him. It's come from him. It's a gift from him. The trust that we have is a gift from him. The endurance that we have is a gift from him. The long suffering we have is a gift from him. Everything's from him. So what do that leave a man and woman? With nothing but that which is in your flesh. And that's what's keeping you from understanding him. Now, what is the key to the kingdom? The keys to the kingdom, I'm going to go on and give it to you now. I'm going to give it to you at the end. The keys to the kingdom is this. The whole purpose of it all and why we came down here to represent him. Just to come back, suffer down here with endurance, long suffering. That's what that was. When he bring you in the flesh and bring you down here, those are the things you're going to endure. But you already sealed with everything he gave you. You see, Satan didn't know that. He still don't know it, even as I speak it. But what was it all for? Was it for you to get a husband and marry him and have kids? Was it for the husband to get him 7 wives and fulfill his lust? For him to hate on black women and still lead the church and speak at every chance he get? for him to raise virgin girls for men who didn't had families and children, then they left them. Like Jenny said, that's something he truly is telling the truth about. Y'all ain't gonna give you the time of day after he done gave you the talents. The talents are your children, your seed. And you done left those seeds and ain't gave them nothing. And you thinking you're gonna get away with it. And y'all gonna consider you to be a pastor, a leader, a minister, a teacher. No, he is not. Y'all better listen to Janie's on that topic, because that's one topic he is telling the truth about. But let me tell y'all the overall with the keys. The keys in which I have in my hand is to let you all know. The reason why he predestined you, ordained you, and knew you before the foundation of the world and sealed in you and gonna hold you blameless is because everything you did was for his will. That was all connected to his will. So what was your purpose to be here? What he said it was from the beginning, to worship him. So by Sister Deborah giving you this information, guess what it's teaching you? What is the outcome of this information? What is the keys to the kingdom, Deborah? Worship him and him only. Stop believing all these traps these people giving you, all these things. They're manipulating you and deceiving you, making you think you got to do this. All of that is for the flesh. He said, man is not now only flesh, but he is spirit. Now, not only spirit, but he is flesh. He letting you know he got a spirit that I deal with, but he got a flesh down here he cutting up on the floor. But y'all say, because I'm putting you down there with that flesh and where Satan reside and has deceived the world, I'm going to make sure I put in everything in you so you can return back to me. Tell man how he like me now. AHAYAH wants you to know, to say to man, how you like me now. It's time to worship him and worship him only in spirit and truth. Now that you know that the power never rests in your hand, in your authority, and in your teaching, and in your ministry, and in your feelings, and in your emotions, and in your wisdom, and in your knowledge, and in your understanding, in your personal opinions, and in your emotions, all of it rests in him. All that other mess is for Satan. So now it's time to do what the keys of the kingdom come to do. Is to what? Worship him. Why? Because that's the only reason why he created all things, to worship him. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. He just bringing sister here, letting her live long enough to tell you all it's time to worship him. That's the start of the game, and that's the end of the game. We were all created for one thing, to worship him. And we have gotten off of that for trillions of years. And Yah, his son, Sister Deborah, to tell you all this leads up to the keys of the kingdom. That reason why heaven and earth was created. And that we and everything on the earth may worship him. And that's what this message Sister Deborah is pouring out. It's time to worship him. And not the ideals of men and women. Not their ways. Not their ear. Not their message. Not their emotions, their feelings. Not their wisdom in their flesh, not their knowledge in their flesh and their understanding. It's time to worship him. And how must we do that? In spirit and in truth. See everything in the spiritual realm. Because that's the way it was orchestrated and designed. Okay? Okay, now let's go to John. 1 John 3 and 2. I'm almost done. I think I'm doing pretty good. I give all glory to the Most High, AHAYAH, for because I really was getting sick. I was really getting sick in my spirit, and it was dragging. It wasn't in my spirit; it was in my flesh because it was making me feel like stressed out. A place that I've never gone before in a way that I shouldn't be feeling. And I'm like, why am I feeling like this? Why is this on me like this here? I got to talk. I wanted to get up at midnight hour and talk about it, but I didn't. Let's go to 1 John. 1 John chapter 3, verse 2. 1 John chapter 3, verse 2. Beloved, now are we the sons of Yah. Do you all remember what he called the son of Yah and the son of man? He called him his beloved. He called him the beloved. Okay? And his right hand is his beloved. That's where his power is at. Now listen to what he says here. In 1 John, beloved, he called us. Now are we the sons of Yah. And it do not appear what we shall be. Meaning, don't worry about what you shall be. You are the sons of Yah. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, and we shall see him as he is. Now, if we're going to be like him, is not he a spirit? So why are people thinking that we're going to be Negroes? Why are people thinking we're going to be walking around with dreads and Yeshua going to be a Negro too? That time is over. Yeshua only came down in the flesh to be a flesh of a man. And he had to have some flesh to come down. So he came down the bloodline of Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So he had to come down that way. But the way you're going to see him in the kingdom, it's going to blow your mind, because he ain't going to look like you and you ain't going to look like yourself. And this is what this is saying. You don't know what you shall appear. And if it says, but we know not that we shall appear, why are we running around here trying to say Negro? Yeshua was a black man, was a Negro, a Hebrew Israelite. AHAYAH is a black man. Draw a picture of a black man. Stop. Stop. He is not going to be a Negro, a melanated person when you see him in the kingdom. He is not going to have your dreads. He's going to be a spirit. We're going to look like him, a spirit. You see these spirits? He's on the throne right now as a spirit. That's what we're going to look. And we're going to look like. Now, this is where the power is getting ready to take place, y'all. This is where you're going to have to understand something big time. This is really, really big time. But Sister Deborah is also telling you, and the Most High just put it on my spirit. Tell the people they are free. You are free indeed. This message is coming to set you free. This message is coming to set you free. Okay? Now, when you go to Ephesians chapter 1, and this is where it's going to get potent, y'all. Ephesians chapter 1. Stay with me. Ephesians chapter 1. Ephesians chapter 1. Verse 3 through 6. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 3 through 6. And verse 3 reads, Blessed be AHAYAH and Father of our Yeshua HaMashiach, who has blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in HaMashiach, which is Christ. Now, I got a feeling that if there's 100 that hears this, only one going to get the whole message, okay? But I'm not going to let Satan get that glory right now to think that he's going to defeat that many. But let me get to the study. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 3. And it reads, Blessed be AHAYAH and Father, AHAYAH, of our Yeshua HaMashiach, who has blessed us with all spiritual blessings. Did not I tell you that every spiritual gift we have, faith, trust, believe, endurance, long-suffering, meekness, patience, those are spiritual gifts that AHAYAH has already given us before we hit earth. It was given to us from here. See, this is the whole keys to the kingdom of this message. It's to let you know what is invested in you, whether you see it or not, and know it or not. It was invested in you from the throne. And you see this right hand? That's HaMashiach. That's what the world called Christ. Right here. That's Yah's right hand. It's called the power. Now, let's get to this here verse. Blessed be AHAYAH of Yeshua HaMashiach, who has blessed us with spiritual blessings in heavenly places in his power. There go power right there. Christ is power. Power is his right hand, on the right hand of him. That's Christ. That's AHAYAH's power. Okay? Verse 4. According as he has chosen us in him. Not according to a pastor, a man, a woman, a seer, a maureen, a watchman. Not according to this flesh down on here on earth who's telling you who you are, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and the way you're going to do it. Yah has already sealed that in you. In heavenly places have he sealed these things in you. How? Verse 4. According as he has chosen us in him before the foundation of the world have he chosen you. So what man on the earth is going to tell you who you are? What man on the earth is going to tell you left and right? When heaven has already chosen you. Now let's go on. Let's continue. Let's continue. Okay. According to his he has chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we shall be holy without blame before him in love. I say in him. So if he did all of that before we got down here in our mother's womb, that's what he was saying. I knew you before you was in your mother's womb, because this is where I'm at. I knew you at. I predestined you before you was in your mother's womb. I ordained you before you came to the earth. He's telling you all of this, and here we are down to the earth waiting for a man to give us some lost books. Waiting for a man to precept little here and little there. Waiting for a man to whoop us with Torah. And a woman, because they coming up doing it too. Father, y'all give me strength. And y'all telling you he have placed you in holy, without blame before him in love. And what else does he say? Verse 5. Having predestined us unto an adoption of children. We were adopted before the foundation of the world, because the lamb on the right hand was slaughtered before the foundation of the world, and we as angels had already received salvation through the lamb that was slaughtered before the foundation of the world. Y'all, everything took place in the heavens. And we sitting around here monkeying around waiting for people in the flesh, especially these Negro men, to point our way in our direction. Verse 5, Ephesians chapter 1, verse 5. Having predestined us unto adoption. Listen to this. Of the children of Yeshua HaMashiach. And what he's saying is, when Yeshua came to the earth, when Yeshua came, he came as the Son of Man. And what was detached to him? The Son of Yah. So when he came, we were adopted back through him, back to the Father in which we came. We were adopted of children of Yeshua HaMashiach to him according to the good pleasure of his will. The will is here, y'all, in the heaven. Yah's will is not on the earth, y'all. Let me take this here out the oven. Yah's will is not what man said it is and controlled it to be. Yah's will is in the heavens. It is his way. It is his orchestration of what he did, what he's doing, and what he's going to do. So while we're wanting to chase the ways of man and what man says things are and shall be and will be, that's on us. If we want to chase the will of man and what man says things are and shall be and will be, that's on us. We lose our place because we have no place. Yours is going to be redeemed back to him. So while you're walking in darkness, like I tell y'all, if you're still in the midnight hour, which we are in that day, then you're walking in darkness. So darkness is your destiny. Okay? That's your destiny. That's where you're going. Okay? So it says in verse 5, in first Ephesians chapter 1, verse 5, having predestined us until the adoption of Yeshua HaMashiach. He created Yeshua as the Lamb to adopt us back down here, to bring us back home to the Father. Okay? So the Lamb that was slaughtered in the heavens, we were already adopted back to him. That's why he was saying the gifts was given before repentance, because it was given to us from the bosom of the Father in the heavens. While we sitting around here monkeying around waiting for some man to king and lead us and guide us. And that's what they're really out here doing. They're leading all of these people astray. They're trying to get power back to their hands. Our men is trying to gain powers back, but they don't understand it's finished. It's over. The only power you need to understand is Deuteronomy 28 in game, until you are destroyed. Okay? And verse 6 says, to the praise of the glory of his grace. Hallelujah, Father Yah, wherein he has made us acceptable in his beloved. Acceptable in his beloved. His beloved, y'all, is that right hand power. He accepted us through that beloved, that right hand power. That's here. That's Yeshua. That's Hamashiach, I call it, but it's Yeshua. Not Yeshua. That's not Yeshua. That's Hamashiach. I call it Hamashiach, the word called Christ. That's his right hand. Okay, that's his beloved, where he accepted us back. Okay, now we got to get to 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy. And the only reason why no one would want you to accept this is because they want the power in their hand. They want you to think you got the power to make a choice, and they want you to think they got the power. The whole ideal of his whole creation is for us to worship him. Even the fish in the sea, even the sea itself, we were created to worship him. That's why he says the whole earth is out of order. Okay, 2 Timothy, verse 1 and 9. Let's hear this. Verse 1 and 9. Who have saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to his own purpose, and gave and grace which was given us in Yeshua, now Hamashiach, Yeshua, before the world began. Now, right here, you can see where the power. Okay, the power was first, because it ushered Yeshua before the world began in us. Okay, the power. It letting you know that the power, which is Christ, this is the power, which is Christ. That's his right hand. That's all power. That's Christ. This here is Yeshua. Okay, this here is Christ. Christ is the right hand of the Father. It sits on the right hand of the Father. Okay, and Yeshua is on the right hand, and this is the power. He's waiting for the right hand, which is the power, to send him, Father, send the power with him to collect on the four corners. Now, right here we are at 2 Timothy 1 and let me kind of get back into my spot. 1 and 9. Chapter 1, verse 9. And it reads, who have saved us and called us with a holy calling. Just see that. See what that is? That was before the foundation of the world. Just see how beautiful that is. You were called with a holy calling. You were saved already, y'all. Not according to our works. That letting you know everything you've done down here on the earth, none of it is legit. None of it going to outweigh what you were already called with a holy calling, and you were saved. So your works has nothing to do with that. You were saved and called already before the foundation of the world. So he's saying that you can walk around here and think because you got your head wrapped, you got your fringes on, You got all these earrings that saying Yah, and these bracelets and necklaces that saying Yah, and he told you you can't worship him. Those are idols. You put his name on idols, wood and stone he don't care for because you use that to worship him. And people still do it in the name of a dollar. They don't care. That's where you know that there are agents and there are wolves in sheep clothing because they don't care. Okay, now, here it says, not according to our works, but according to his own purpose and grace, which was giving us in the power, Yeshua, before the world began. See, he gave us already. We are already founded through the power in the Lamb sacrifice. We already found it in there. So what is you doing to try to make yourself all that and some in the eyes of Yah? Sit your tails down and worship, praise, honor him with all your strength, all your spirit, all your mind, and your heart. He's speaking spirit because your flesh ain't gonna do it. So he's telling you, start understanding me the way my prophetess is telling you, in spirit and truth. Because the truth of the matter, you've been lost without a cause for thousands of years. Okay, so what is it saying here in 9? Who have saved us? He already saved us. He has called us with a holy calling, not according to our works. So while y'all walking around here, women, trying to submit to a man that has not submitted to spirit and truth, you're lost without a cause. You're submitting yourself, like that man pastor said, that these men ain't took care of their children, ain't took care of their households, ain't fed their babies, ain't housed them, and they don't even understand. You better watch yourself. Don't let me get into the talents, because that might be what he's talking about. The talents of what he has truly given you from heaven, those seeds. Okay? So everybody want to jump to materialistic things as talents. But to get to the nitty gritty, these talents might be the spirits he put in your womb. Men, okay, and he says, and grace which was given us. It was already, see that word given? That's love. Yah is love. Yah is give and gave, not love. Love, printed backwards, is Evo. Yah is give and gave. Okay? Because you can't define his love, so don't speak the word love if you don't know the definition of it. Because you ain't gonna find no definition of it. Okay? So he says in 9, it was given already to us in Christ. That means the power had gave us the sacrifice of Yeshua before the foundation of the world. That means when he was slaughtered, Yah had already splattered the blood on us before we even came down to our mother's womb. Stand down and stop being like clowns and stop representing these clowns. Okay? The next one is 1 Peter. After this, if you heard this whole message, after this, if you lost, you lost. You lost to damnation and don't know it. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 19 and 20. 19 read. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 19 and 20. But with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb. You see, Christ, this is here. That's Hamashiach. That's Christ. Just like we just read in 2 Timothy 1 and 9. Christ is the right hand of the Father. Okay? He slaughtered this lamb, which was an angel, which is Yeshua. Okay? And the blood that even got on him, because he's the one that had the power to slaughter him. Okay? It said, as the lamb without blemish and without spot. In the heavens, it's not about blood. Okay? It only become blood on the earth when he shed his blood. But in the heavens, there's no spot, no wrinkle, no blemish, no spots in the heavens. He was just chosen to be the sacrifice, the lamb slaughtered before the foundation of the world. See, he was slaughtered already. And when he was slaughtered for that, you had already received. Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah. You had already received the blood from the heavens, y'all, before you even got down here on earth. Read verse 19. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 19. But with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot. It took place in the heavens, y'all, where you was already splattered with the blood. He came when the mission was done here. He had to come down and adopt you back to the Father, where you really were already. And he knows already, just like he told the Father, all that thou hast given me, I have not lost one. Because he knows when the Father does something, he does it up. Thank you, Father, y'all. Thank you, Father, y'all. Ephesians chapter 2. Let's go back to Ephesians chapter 2. A lot of the Negro men will cancel out Paul because it's telling on them. It is telling on them big time. Ephesians chapter 2 is telling you about their lies. It's telling you about their deceiving. It's telling you about everything. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. And it reads, for we are workmanships created in, there that power, Yeshua. The power first and then Yeshua. Christ first and then Yeshua. You were created by the power of Yah's right hand in Yeshua. Okay? Unto good works, which AHAYAH has before ordained that we shall walk in them. Ordain means order, decree, give order for. So he's letting you know this was all ordained before the foundation of the world. Okay? What was ordained? Go back. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. For we are workmanship created in the power of AHAYAH's right hand. Okay? Yeshua's sacrifice, blood, unto good works, which AHAYAH has before ordained that we shall walk in them. Wherefore, remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh. Gentiles in the flesh meaning you didn't have no belief in Yah, you didn't care, you just wasn't a part of who AHAYAH is in your flesh. That's in your flesh. He just letting you know in your flesh where you like that, but it don't outride what heaven already sealed in. And that's what Sister Deborah is giving you all, the keys to the kingdom. Now, I want to explain to you all, what I'm giving to you, you're not going to get anywhere else. Nor will you hear it. This probably be the only time you hear it. This is a time period in my life I didn't think I would live to be able to give out what AHAYAH taught me since I was a little girl. I didn't think it. I just assumed he would send many to wrap this up. But here it is. I'm living in the year of 2022 and I have not heard, nor have I seen. Even though I'm looking for the two prophets that's coming. But I have not seen, nor have I heard. When I hear the prophets and the prophetess talk on here, it's yang, 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 yang. He say, she say, he say, she say, rebuking and rebuking and challenging and charging and how would I say it? Convicting people to heaven and hell and all this sort of stuff. And Sister Deborah's not into that. I don't rumble that way. I rumble in spirit and truth. Okay, now we're going to go to John. The Gospel of John, chapter 17. We're almost done here. The Gospel of John. And I believe that something is going to happen. I can't pinpoint what it is because the Father has not given it to me. How long that, how would this message get out? Yah is finished. He said he is finished. So he's not concerned about you really getting what I'm saying. It's just that the light is so bright and he allowed that light to be so bright. And if he just want to let them know, just hold on. We were created to worship him, period. Not to worship man. We weren't created for man. That's the way they told you, women. We have always been created from what the heavens had created us for him. Okay. John chapter 17, verse 24. Father, I will that they also whom thou hast given me be with me where I am, that they may behold my glory which thou hast given me. You hear he's talking about giving? Because Yah is given and gave. Yah is not love. Love printed backwards is Evo. Let me put that on the board. Okay. I'm going to put that on the board so you can see exactly where I'm coming from. Okay. Equals EVO. It's a hidden word that Satan, very cunning, has allowed wickedness to bring in, and we have taken it as a friend, not knowing what we were seeing, and that's why we can't get past a lot of things we are in. AHAYAH is given, GIVEN, and gave. That's who he is. That's why when he said, "Give me all of your then," because it belongs to him anyway. He just wants you to have a mindset that here I turn my whole self, spirit, and all over to you. Okay. That's just what he wants us to really think about. And even in this message, turn your all to him, men and women. Stop this thinking that you need a master, a leader, a king, a ruler, a pastor, a deacon, a prophet, a prophetess, apostle, a bishop, a leader. It's over. They haven't led you nowhere but in darkness. And that's where darkness is today, 2022. Now you got pastors telling people about Democratic and Republicans. That's more pitch darkness. These people are playing a game with all of you all. They work together in the highest level of wicked and evil there is on the face of the earth. You got these ignorant men telling people, Republicans and Democrats, and the Negro community. And they hauling on that. One's doing, oh, this one is good, this one is bad. Baby, y'all women and children and men that's lost without a cause up under these type of people. Now, let's go to John chapter 17 and verse 24, and it reads, Father, this is Yeshua, I will that they also whom thou hast given me be with me where I am, that they may behold my glory which thou hast given me. For thou loveth me before the foundation of the world. Where did he love him at? Right here. Let them be with me. All that I have, he said, all that thou hast given me, be with me. His whole mission was to come to redeem all of these here sons of Yah back to the bosom of Yah. And he did an excellent job. And that's pretty much what he's saying. He did an excellent job. Before the foundation of the world, I had them in me already. You have assigned me them. I brought them back to you, Father. You see, and I think that's beautiful. And where you are, lost without a cause. You're not found it because you're so far out in the deep. You have swam so far in the ocean with these men and women to where you can't even see dry land. Meaning you can't see spirit and truth. You can't see righteous. You can't see faith. You can't see believe and trust. Okay? Now we're going to go to Matthew 25. I think I covered that. I'm not sure. Let's go to Matthew 25. Matthew 25. Matthew 25 and 34. Matthew 25 and 34. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye, blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. You see that? Before the foundation of the world. So if AHAYAH had already prepared you from the heavens level, even Yeshua was slaughtered before the foundation of the world, and you were already ushered in him from the heavenly level. Tell me what the men are talking about today. How are they leading you? What can they lead you to? What can they lead you to outside of what Sister Deborah is not covering this day? What can they lead you to? Father, y'all, let's go over that again. Matthew chapter 25 and 34, it reads. Matthew chapter 25, verse 34. Then shall the king say unto them on the right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. There it is. Way back then, y'all. Way back then. Let's go to Matthew 13.